Concentrating the mind, an essential subject from Vinaypedia. One must go to sacred places not only to take bath there but to search out great sages like Maitreya and take instructions from them. If one does not do so, his traveling to places of pilgrimage is simply a waste of time. Narottama Desa H. Kura, a great Sirya of the Vaishnava sect, has, for the present, forbidden us to go to such places of pilgrimage because in this age, the times having so changed, a sincere person may have a different impression on seeing the behavior of the present residents of the pilgrimage sites. He has recommended that instead of taking the trouble to travel to such places, one should concentrate his mind on Govinda, and that will help him. Of course, to concentrate one's mind on Govinda in any place is a path meant for those who are the most spiritually advanced. It is not for ordinary persons. Ordinary persons may still derive benefit from traveling to holy places like Praga, Mathur, Vindhyavana and Hardwar. Srila Prabhupada's books, lectures, conversations and letters offer a comprehensive presentation of this essential subject as seen in the Vinaycote's Concentrating the Mind category. An introduction from his books is given below in the following 8 quotes. Quotes from Srila Prabhupada's books. When one is detached from the attraction of material prosperity, one can actually concentrate his mind upon the supersoul. As long as the mind is distracted towards the material, there is no possibility of concentrating one's mind and intelligence upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his partial representation, supersoul. In other words, one cannot concentrate one's mind and energy upon the Supreme unless one is detached from the material world. Armad Bh Gavatam 3.26. 72. After taking his bath he would sit in a secluded place on the bank of the river, and by practicing the yoga exercises of Pryama, the usual breathing exercises, he would concentrate his mind. These breathing exercises are meant to mechanically fix the mind upon a particular subject. That is the result of the breathing exercises and also of the different sitting postures of yoga. Formerly, even quite ordinary persons used to know how to fix the mind upon the remembrance of the Lord, and so the Brahma was doing this. Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 10. In olden days such practice was very common for the transcendentalist, for the mode of life and character in those days were favorable. But in modern days, when the influence of Kali age is so disturbing, practically everyone is entrained in this art of bodily exercise. Concentration of the mind is more easily attained in these days by the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. The results are more effective than those derived from the inner exercise of the life air. Armad Bh Gavatam 2.2. 19. One should not even divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. The Lord has multiforms as Vu, Narya, Arma, Varha, etc. But a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Concentration of the mind on the form of Kaya constitutes the most confidential part of knowledge, and this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Kaya's. Bhagavad Gita 18.65. In Bidarikrama Dhruva Arya's senses became completely purified because he bathed regularly in the crystal clear purified water. He fixed his sitting position and by yogic practice controlled the breathing process and the air of life. In this way his senses were completely withdrawn. Then he concentrated his mind on the Ark Vigraha form of the Lord, which is the exact replica of the Lord, and, thus meditating upon him, entered into complete trance. Armad Bh Gavatam 4.12. 17. He tries to impress upon us that instead of diverting our attention to several branches of self-realization, we should concentrate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the supreme object of realization, worship and devotion. Self-realization is, as it were, offering a fight for eternal life against the material struggle for existence, and therefore by the illusory grace of the external energy, the yog or the devotee is faced with many elements which can entangle a great fighter again in the bondage of material existence. Armad Bh Gavatam 2.1. 39. His, Vaisadeva's, son was a great devotee, an equibalanced monist, whose mind was always concentrated in monism. He was transcendental to mundane activities, but being unexposed, he appeared like an ignorant person. Armad Bh Gavatam 1.4. 4. If a yog wants to shatter the mountain of dirt in his mind, he should concentrate on the lotus feet of the Lord and not imagine something void or impersonal. Because the dirt has accumulated like a solid mountain, one must meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord for quite a long time. For one who is accustomed to thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord constantly, however, it is a different matter. The devotees are so fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord that they do not think of anything else. Armad Bh Gavatam 3.28, 22.